Hello and welcome to another edition of Unpopular Reviews. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are going to review the 90s classic of Set It Off. Now, because it's St. Patrick's Day, ladies and gentlemen, I got nothing but the Chronic as my background. And why do I have the Chronic in my background? Because none other than Dr. Dre, Super Bowl performer Dr. Dre, was in this movie, ladies and gentlemen, which is something that I forgot. But we're going to get more into it before I ramble too much. Joining me this evening is none other than E Boogie herself. How you doing, girl?
I'm doing wonderfully. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I love this movie.
Yeah, it was great. Great rewatch.
Yes, definitely. Now, also joining us today is, and I love this name, Mr. Hey Yo. It's Mike Knox. Love it.
Yo. I asked, could y'all watch this movie? I thank y'all as being a fan of the show. Y'all bring me on from time to time. I asked this movie. I didn't understand how y'all didn't have this movie for February, but hey, it's here now. I got to rewatch.
It's like the way y'all drag it is really the problem. Yeah. Not the sentiment, it's the dragging.
Well, I know I was dragging right there. I thought I was setting up the next guy, but it's okay.
To drag it some more, right?
Speaking about dragging and dragging things out and dragging, they're also joining us is none other than the executive consultant. Where's the rain cloud?
No, actually, I'm flipping coin to see whether or not I'm going to go ahead and drag this out because number one, this guy's talking shit. Like I don't understand that. The number one king of I talk too much is talking shit, and then Mr. Mike Knox, Wagtail, who has to get his point out so much, he even put it in the chat room just now. Like I don't see the shit. All right, that's what happens. That you have two.
That was so you don't forget. That was a friendly reminder.
You get your point across. I don't know how many times I have to read that. It was your fault that we had set it off in the month of February. So now we're doing it in the month of March. So whether it's February, March, I still feel the same way about this movie, and I'm going to let you know how I feel about this movie in a couple minutes because. Oh my God!
I say it sucked.
Well, stay tuned, Vic. Take it.
All right. Well, one of the things that I loved about this movie was how progressive it was for the time, because especially like the way that the movie started and all of the roles that all of the women were playing and how different all of them were. And one of them was really, really hard. One of them was really, really sweet. All of them came from different backgrounds. All of them were very different in many different ways. And all of them had similar situations as to why they needed money. Another thing that I personally really, really loved was just thinking back to how people viewed that amount of money. Like, you know what I mean? Like $20,000 seemed like a ton of money back then. The other thing I had an appreciation for was just the banking system. Like, who writes checks anymore? Who goes to the teller? Like, who goes, like, unless you're getting a substantial amount of money or maybe like a bank check or something like that. But like, just the whole system of standing in line and going to see the teller and going to do a transaction, like it seems it's an incredibly last century. So it brought a lot of memories. Now, the other thing that this brought up, this was so 90s gangster. Yo, listen, when Cleo got in that car, that first car that she stole, and all of a sudden she started playing Eric B. and Rakim, I was rolling. I loved it. I loved how hood it was. I loved how sweet it was. I loved how they had all this extra hood and they had the black bourgeoisie. It was great. It was amazing. Like, it was just all over the place. I think that, just the fact that they got away with it a couple of times. And then it reminded me of the movie Juice, how you can get so fueled with power when you get a bunch of money, or when you have this just one thing that makes you just feel a little bit better, and then you just itch for more. Because mind you, if they would have stopped at the first one, they probably would have gotten away with it. You never know. You know what I mean? But they continued and continued and continued. It just made the movie more and more and more captivating. And now other things were, man, I feel like that rapey scene in the beginning of the movie wasn't necessary. I understood the drama behind it, but the fact that she had to sleep with the guy, and that guy was creepy as hell. Like you could see her crying when she was sleeping with him. And then after the fact, and when she found out that she really didn't even have to do that because this kid didn't even get into the school, and like, oh, I wanted to hit him. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to hit him when he told her that because she didn't reveal what she had to do to get that money. But the way that they just told the whole story, told everybody's drama, told them the reason why they had to go rob the bank. Like there was no point in this movie where I felt like they were the bad guy. And last but not least, because I know I'm talking too much, I love Queen Latifah. Yo, I'm about to pop on ladies first right now because what? That shit was popping. I love Cleo. She is so gangster. Cleo is harder than so many guys in so many different movies. But yeah, that's it.
Oh shit, it might be my turn. Oh, anywho, I'll dive in. Yeah, everything Vic said. I really loved this friend dynamic because you kind of feel like Frankie and Stoney are just at the cusp of having a fallout at any given time. And then they really, all four of them really just bond at this point when they make the decision to start robbing banks or whatever. Like each of them has experienced something traumatic individually, but except Cleo kind of. But the others, like she still felt the impact of Stoney's little brother dying. Like they all grew up together. So it's like a family member dying. Then TT's baby getting taken. It's just a lot going on for them. Frankie's whole traumatic experience. I need to go back to Frankie's experience because if anybody has worked in like a corporate setting, they know that it always feels like the eyes are on you, right? So as you're performing on the job, you're doing your best, you're overworking yourself, committing to the company and whatnot. But you know that no matter what, if something goes down, people are going to be looking at you. You know what I'm saying? And something did go down. And the first thing they did is interrogate her and then accuse her and then fire her. Like that was just so wicked to do. The lady still had blood splattered on her. It was just really ridiculous. Like, but it shows you the extremes to which that she was pushed. That hey, it almost makes you say, you know what? Go ahead, girl, rob them banks because they weren't trying to harm anyone, and those banks are insured. So to me, it's like, why is there even guns up in there? You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Apparently, they lost $90,000. Insurance fraud. That's
less than a senator's salary. You know what I'm saying? It's just not worth lives. So whatever happens to her, and that traumatizes her. These ladies are on the brink. At first, they're just talking smack, and then they're just like, you know what? F society. Let's be bank robbers. We can do this. And they succeed. They do it really, really well. And they keep doing it really well. Even though each time it feels like it's by the skin of their teeth that they accomplish their goals, like they still robbed banks successfully up until the end. It was only because, the one little hair difference of circumstance makes it a murder scene. Somebody decides to be a hero. Why? I mean, it's federal, so they get to a federal bank. That's when they're like, okay, yeah, that's. I just don't know. It just felt like a lot of trauma happening again and again and again. But on top of that, like there was a very well curated story. You cared about these characters. You were invested in them, their well being. You wanted to get her baby back. You wanted Cleo to have her her new whip. She'd been working on the same whip since 7th grade. Like, they had climbed her in the hood. Like, she's trying to be living her majesty, and she's broke as hell, can't do that. And you know what? I want them to be well off. These Black women all represent different walks of life, like meth, and how trauma can like push you to the extreme. And just the fact that they did it well and they collaborated well, I was proud of that. And that, even though that one hair difference of that security guard trying to be a hero in the last bank robbery, like, just the way Stoney orchestrated so that the boyfriend wasn't there, I just felt like these women are smart. They're pretty smart. Cleo just is, I think she smokes all the time, so that's probably why she ended up getting them hemmed up. I love the sex scene. It was very stark difference to it's consensual sex, but it's also like she doesn't really want it, but she kind of feels like she has to in that moment. It's just a stark difference between those two experiences. One where she feels kind of invaded and violated and just compelled and obligated, and then another where she feels that consent, she feels that connection, and she feels comforted and safe. I really like that they demonstrated the very different ways. Although Blair Underwood scares me to this day. He was in a movie and he was psycho. I think it's called Asunder.
Well, lately all he plays is the jerk role. He doesn't play the guy he used to play back in the 90s. So
yeah, he's getting typecast these days. I'll let somebody else have it.
Executive? Since I'm the guest and all.
Right, which means, the guest should go first.
Well, as always.
This is your movie, right?
Well, that's why I should go last.
Well, technically, Vic should go last because it's his movie.
Oh, well, technically, I called the movie, so it was
Mike, go.
I just wanted to fuck with you because you're an executive hater. Anyway, listen, Gary Gray, if I say his name right, Gary Gray, coming from Friday, doing this movie, just showed his range and what he could do as a director. I thought he put these girls in a very good position, acting wise, where for what it's worth, if you fast forward to like Baby Boy, it's not the greatest written script with the dialogue between everybody involved, but the way that the actresses themselves pulled this movie off, it was believable. It's like what E Boogie and Vic has already said. You found yourself cheering for these girls, and all looking back at it, being Monday morning quarterback, as they say. They were wrong. I mean, for what it's worth. I mean, they were robbing banks to get money, and you're taking money from other people. But that's not the story. The story is the justice systems did them wrong. The job force did them wrong. The child protective services did them wrong. Life and self, the hood did them wrong. Like you guys spoke about Stoney in the sex scene with, you want this money? This, what you gotta do, and this is what she did historically. You could, from the way that this story is being told, to keep the lights on in the house from time to time if she had to be. My mother would always say this: "I all but sell a piece of pussy, baby. I've done it all to make sure you have it," and that's what real mothers do. Anything they can to make sure their kids eat, their kids have heat, their kids have shoes, and things like that. So to see that dynamic, but then to, like Vic said, to step it up and make, and this movie is truly indicative of the 90s and what the culture was, because it touched on everything. Everybody touched on everything. Now, you coming from, like you said, we're talking about Hell the Queen. We're talking about Queen Latifah here. Like, they're ladies first is the greatest female song to me of all time. Okay. And because High Queen spits that. So then to see her, and then actually see her in her at that time, we wasn't sure if Queen Latifah was gay or not. We didn't know if she was gay or not. We heard the rumors, but there was no proof of these things. So to see her actually in her natural inhabitant, now we know why she played Cleo so damn well.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And then you see Jada Pinkett, who is, I'm not sure if Jada's the star of this movie or Vivica Fox. I think Jada's the star of the movie, and Vivica Fox is more the co-star. But also, this movie gave us something that we don't have any longer, that the 90s completely gave us, because that was the culture. It was the soundtrack of this movie. The soundtrack of this movie to this day still resonates in my household. It'll get played in a heartbeat on repeat, and randomly the music is playing. it just sits well. Like the rooftop scene, you know what I mean? And they're playing help me out, guys. You know the song I'm referring to, the female song when they're on the roof. It wasn't but you know, I just can't think of it right now. I've been drinking. It is St. Patrick's Day. Happy birthday, Uncle Paul. Yes, my grandmother named my uncle Paul because he was born on St. Patrick's Day. I don't get how we call him Paul when his name is Patrick. Just saying. I'm just going to put that out there.
It's a Christian name.
But this movie, in so many ways, just was the culture. But then you can also see the mistakes they were making in the movie when Cleo's throwing out the tapes. And you're like, girl, what are you doing? Fingerprints everywhere. Like they got so cocky, like Vic said. They could have the first time they did this, they could have got away with this. You know what I mean? But no, it wasn't enough because you split up the money. It's not a lot. And then let's not forget about Luther, who steals the money. So they have to go rob again. They did all this to get a little cushion to have to go do it again. And then, I mean, let's talk about this. Is her death scene? Or is Lonzo's death scene and Training Day? Which one? They say damn sure identical, and the way they both just go out, the way they took those gunshots, they fall. It's a lot. The way how the pressure of this movie when they're caught at the end, and that cop sees Stoney on the bus, but he knew what she had went through, and at this point, enough bloodshed had been shed. All the girls were gone. Just a phenomenal movie. And I heard today for the first time, which I'm normally on top of these things, they're rebooting this movie.
Oh, nice.
And I'm a favorite. I watch everything, as executive consultant will tell you. I do. I watch a lot of things. I'm not sure if this one I want to see rebooted.
We'll see the cast. If they cast it well.
And that does matter. And that does matter what the cast will be. That does matter. But I think sometimes you got to leave great enough alone. And this movie to me is great in just what that era been. Again, the dialogue. It's like watching Boys in the Hood. It's like watching, like I said, Baby Boy. The dialogue, sometimes the wording. I gotta say this line. Damn, the car broke and the engine broke and the car needs fixing. Well, damn, Yvette, if the engine's broke, I'm quite sure the car needs fixing. That's some of the lines that are in like Baby Boy. So some of the lines in this movie, you know, with her trying to get her child back and Cleo being so negative against her. And then Vivica Fox's character, Francesca's like, you know, like, I don't care. This is my money. She ain't do nothing for it. This whole dynamic, including the brother, is just a phenomenal movie. Shout out to those girls. Shout out to F. Gary Gray for this movie. Just phenomenal to me. Executive consultant. And this spammer is just really going ham, isn't he?
All right. I you know what? I appreciate everything that everybody said.
Now here it comes. That's why he couldn't go last.
Let's not go around pretending that this movie didn't have a lot of crap to it. Okay, let's call them the crap out. Okay, y'all sit here and y'all talk about y'all cheering these little people who going around robbing banks. We don't want to do that. That's terrible. Why would you do that? Okay, because somebody lost a child. You brought them to work. You took your eyes off them. You were over there cleaning when you should be watching your child. That's your fault. That's your fault. Now, let's go back to the other thing. Somebody got fired. Okay, I feel bad for her. Why do we fall? So we can learn to pick ourselves back up. It's not by going robbing banks, right? It's not because you're robbing banks. It's not what you do. Right?
You're one of them bootstrap dudes.
I can't. Can I? One time. Just want
no, you can't. No,
I want to be able to say my part.
You always entertain it for anybody else.
You know, can I sit there and I let y'all kiss ass the entire time and I don't say shit. But as soon as I say something, I got clouds, I got this, I got you with this crap. Okay. So like I was saying, all right, like I was saying, then you have this one person and she's sleeping with dude, right? Because she needs some money, right? Now I was respecting her because she said no and she stuck by her no. But then she went on and she did what she had to do. However, at the same time, it's uncomfortable with me. I don't like seeing people like that. I am somebody who has a dominant personality, right? I'm an alpha. That's what I've been told. Anyway, right? E-Boogie, your headphones aren't working. You over here leaning closer like your headphones
I can hear you.
All right, cool. All right.
Go ahead.
I can hear you. That's
alpha.
the problem. All right, so I'm an alpha. But I would not like to put myself in a situation where the woman would not want to sleep. That's just stupid to me. I never understood. How could you feel yourself as a strong man sleeping with a woman who obviously has no desire for you whatsoever. That's not a win. That's a loss. You should be insulted to do something like that. So that bothered me. There's something else that bothered me. After she got found out that her brother wasn't going to college, she tore up the fucking check. Why did you tear up the fucking check? I thought that was stupid as hell.
Now, I did say it had bad writing in it.
I understand the mechanics behind it.
That money was blood money.
Correct. But you already did the damn deed.
Facts.
Blood money.
And that song was En Vogue, by the way.
That wasn't a song for that, but I got you.
It is a song I was talking about. No, it's Tamia's song.
Okay.
Which one?
But on the rooftop. But it was actually a Bone Thugs song.
It wasn't Bone
Thugs.
It
was Bone Thugs.
It wasn't Bone Thugs.
That's fine. Go ahead and fact check me. You'll find out.
I don't have to fact check. I just watched it today. It wasn't. It was. I come back in a second when I start singing
it. When it played, I remember I said boom, 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 boom.
Because it was, but that's fine. You know. Mike, I love when Mike is so short. So he's gonna be so mad when he finds out I'm correct. But anyway, so then there's that, right? The cop, he did a complete 180 because at the beginning of the movie, he was all like, "What's the procedure? What's the procedure?" He was just like all like against it. But I don't know if this character changed on purpose because of what happened with the woman's brother getting shot and killed and murdered. And I'm thinking that's what it was, where he's saying, "I don't want to see any more unnecessary death." And it was good to see him start to get a little bit humanized because of that. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad they killed that other dude.
He went on to become a doctor.
Good.
It was Missing You by Brandy.
Okay.
Gladys Knight, Tamia, like I said.
That's fine, but Bone Thugs was playing in the beginning.
Oh, that's at the end.
Right. Bone Thugs was playing. It was still on the rooftop, so okay, so we're both right. I'll give you that. But I was glad that first guy, the guy that had the little tattoo on it or the haircut. I was glad he was killed. Oh man, I was so happy he got shot because he was getting on my nerves. There was too much gangster in this movie, right? And I know that was the premise and was supposed to be with this movie, and I don't think it would work without it. But it just was to the point where it was like getting on my nerves because some people I felt like were trying too hard to be a gangster.
That's how he always is, though.
You know and I know,
he got which is why you don't know, which is why he doesn't last in movies. Because he's a punk and I can't stand him. But you know what? That might be a testament of how he acts because that basically what they see him.
That's the role they asked for, I think. So
either way you look at it,
he remind me of you a little bit.
False. Nowhere near.
How you gonna say it was false about my memory?
Because your memory is completely false. Because there ain't nothing about him that reminds me of
called you a corny cornball ass dude.
He's from Acorn.
There's nothing about him that reminds me of
No, I feel like he's typecast perfectly for like that LA case.
He is.
Yeah.
Always. I mean, but this movie was very, very, very Los Angeles, like very 90s LA.
Well, it was set in Los Angeles, so I mean that's it did a very good job with that. I didn't understand the point of Vivica Fox. I didn't understand the point of all of them trying to commit suicide at the end almost. I was like,
it's the same essence of Thelma and Louise, like
yeah. I didn't understand that.
They about to go out.
It was very good, especially Queen Latifah. You know,
I felt her understood a little bit more. Her understood a little bit more because she was being a hero, not the one we all need.
Yeah, she was
the one we deserved, right? Because she took the L. She took the L because she was trying to save the other two. She knew when they were leaving the car that was going down. She knew. She knew that Hootie wasn't going to be able to survive all them bullets.
Well, she hit them switches.
Right, she knew it. And then
how about Stoney saw what's her face out the window and was like, "So I'm missing you."
Okay, I understood that. I would have did the same thing. No offense, but it's like I ain't doing nothing but getting shot if I go out there also, right? And the cop knew that, which is why he let it go. But Cleo knew she was dying because even after her heart got riddled with bullets, she comes out busted. So she already knew,
she went out gangster style.
I have no quotes for this movie. What I have for this movie is the fact I'll give a shout out to Mike Knox for this one.
Luther.
Because I forgot until I saw this movie that a lot of the songs I love came from this movie, including the song that played at the beginning, En Vogue's "Don't Let Go," which was one of my favorite songs for like 2 or 3 years there, because that song is just great. Okay, love it, loved it. Almost wish E Boogie was singing it at the beginning of it, but she didn't open the show. It was Vic. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching us here in this segment. Find out what we're going to talk about when it comes to Tuesday and next Thursday, and when we come back, our final thoughts as well as thumbs up, thumbs down. Stay with us. You're watching a popular review. Come with me if you want to live.
his loyalty is to a child.
Who sent you?
You did. 35 years from now.
And his enemy...
He's a Terminator like you, right?
Not like me.
...is the deadliest machine ever built. Terminator 2, Judgment Day. This time, he's back. For good.
Trust me.
This time he's back for
I'll
good.
be back before you know it.
Can I come with you?
This is Mommy's very special work trip.
In 3.5 weeks, the Met will be hosting its annual ball. And we are going to rob it. Not the ball itself.
On the neck of Daphne Kluger.
Valued at over $100 million.
It's
150 million, actually.
Ladies Who Hustles Month continues next Thursday with Ocean's 8. It will be the third of our movies that we've done. We'll see which one's the best one of the three that we have talked to so far, of the three that we're going to talk about. And then Tuesday, we're going to talk about Terminator 2, which is arguably better than Terminator 1. Arguably, as if our panelists will find out this coming Tuesday at 9:00 p.m. But right now, we're talking about Set It Off, which is Vic's pick. And Vic, this is your pick. We'll start off with you. Thumbs up, thumbs down, final thoughts.
Okay, well, I want to say this is an American classic. This movie is one of the best movies of the time. It's a great way to depict that time. I completely forgot that Dr. Dre was in this movie, and when I saw him, I was elated because at that time, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, just that whole 90s flow, the whole checkered shirt with button at the top, everybody's a nephew, everybody, you know what I mean? Just that whole flow, that whole LA flow was just popping.
It wasn't an LA flow, but I'm sorry. I got offended. That's a Chicago when we did it too. Just sorry. I'm gonna shut up now.
Hey, unfortunately, Chicago never stands out outside of deep dish pizza, but the reality of the situation, the reality of the situation is, no, they don't stand out.
They don't what? We had the greatest comedians in the world.
No, I'm just saying, like pop culture in general, Chicago doesn't necessarily.
Every movie that's ever filmed is damn near in Chicago.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up to Chicago, even though I've never
every
been there.
movie, like, sure, okay, sure, buddy. But anyway, yeah, clearly it's a thumbs up.
E-Boogie.
I give Chicago 2 thumbs up. I've never been there, but I would love to, and I heard their pizza is amazing. Oh, the movie is wonderful. It's very rare that a movie has me on the edge of my seat for such a long period of time, because once it gets to like the climax, like the last climax of this film,
your facial and body expressions is
when they get to that heightened point of the chase at the end, and it's just like 20 or 30 minutes of just woo, 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 and chasing them all around town. I was like, girl, get out of there, girl. Oh my God, girl. But anyway, I give this movie 2 thumbs up. It was amazing. Oh, and the chain up the booty crack. That was very like smooth. Like I could tell he's done this before. The end.
Oh, that'll get me. Okay. I saw this movie in the movie theater. Shout out to Tri-State Mall in Delaware, which they are closing down. I just heard today. Where I saw that movie turned into an Amazon. Like they need jobs, so fuck it. Right. But everything you guys said, honestly, this movie is a cult classic. It's an American classic. You will see this movie on American Movie Channel. It's that good. It's that impactful. Again, the soundtrack's that impactful. It was the culture of the 90s. And again, despite the dialogue not being the greatest, this is the thing. You went to the movies, and no matter what you can say, you have to say you had a good time, or you just don't have a pulse. So with that, two thumbs up all the way, and on top of that, Chicago of everything.
Cold.
Because we're the coldest.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I'll start
got
off
all
by
the
saying
pimps.
that
Got all the comedians. Got
Nobody
all the
thinks
money.
about Chicago when they want to come to this country. So
Got all the money.
everybody thinks
Nobody
LA.
wants to go to New York. New York's a cesspool.
Everybody thinks about. Hey,
It's a
listen,
cesspool.
we could use less people. Y'all should go
The
take.
best thing about New York was the 90s when y'all had gypsy cabs.
Yeah, okay.
And y'all had to. I can go downtown to Manhattan for 25 cents and put a.
All right, so my opinion on this movie right, is they're making a remake of this shit. Why? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. I can't believe you will make a remake of this crap. It's like dumb to me.
How do you get laid talking about this movie?
So
I'm curious.
I bet you're fun at parties, Chris.
Because it's Chris. You unmuted yourself to interrupt me. Okay. All right. So I just don't get it. I don't get all of the crap I saw in this movie. Why people want to go ahead and rob banks and think it's a good idea. Why they go over here and they say, "Hey, let's go ahead and do it again. Let's get killed." It was just crazy to me, right? Thumbs up, thumbs down. This is the reason why it's getting a thumbs up, right? One, because I actually did enjoy this movie from beginning to end. I love this movie, actually. I was surprised I loved this movie because going in, I thought this movie was going to be suck. And it did suck. It was great. And more importantly than all of that, it was better than the Batman. So, of course, it's going to get a thumbs up to me because that's all it needs in any way movie to get a thumbs up from me. It has to be better than the Batman. And this movie was far better than the Batman. This movie was great, but it doesn't need to be remade. Just because a movie is good does not mean it needs to be remade. Because you're taking away of what made the movie so great by trying to clone it. Don't clone it. If you want to make something similar, go ahead. There's plenty of movies that are similar.
Yeah, they might end
Hollywood.
up
They
making
clone
but
everything.
do not
It's sad.
make
They clone
a similar.
everything.
Now, one more thing. Now, two more things I want to talk about real quick before we end the show is one, I've liked the character of Luther. One, because it made me laugh 3 times, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo,
Right?
Luther was the man. Luther was funny. Luther was funny. He said, "Yeah, bitch, that's my money."
Right.
Like,
Because, and you know what?
Luther was an evil bastard.
Right.
He's not much far off from the old neighborhood freak.
No, he was better.
Oh man,
We all know a Luther.
He's very.
We all know
similar.
a
He was better.
And
So
the
Luther,
fact that
here's the
y'all-
reason why I like Luther, right? I already thought he was
Right.
funny for saying ladies and gentlemen, but what made me stand up and say, you know what? I like him. Is when he stole the money, right? And Cleo went in there and put the gun to his head and everything like that. This man was so believable saying, I ain't got it. I was like, oh shit, who stole the money? Because remember, this is the first time I've seen this movie. So I'm like, oh shit, who stole the money? I really didn't think he stole it, right? I thought Dr. Dre set him up.
Mark.
Yes.
Mark.
You've never seen Set It Off until you got to do the movie review.
Until March 15th, 2022.
Y'all.
And I was like,
Chris.
and I was like, damn. What?
Don't interrupt.
My God,
Don't interrupt me.
Can I say my piece, right? Like, can I finish saying my piece, right? So Luther did it, and I believe he did not do it. So then we turned around and said exactly what Mike Knox said. I was like, oh shit, okay, all right, cool. And then he got killed. He got popped off by a girl who was the first to die, you know, the red shirt. So I was like, okay, good job there. And then the way Cleo handled the girl, like, hey, I shorts. I loved it. So that was good. The other part I want to talk about is actually going to be surprising to you all, because I usually don't like stuff like this, but I actually liked the romantic dynamic between Blair Underwood and Jada Pinkett Smith's character. I thought they had amazing chemistry, and I don't know, it was just shocking to me. I really like. In all honesty, that was actually possibly my favorite part of the movie was just them scenes trying to fall in love with each other.
Knowing the fact that back then, as a horny teenager, we all wanted to kind of see Jada Pinkett's body. We got played twice. In this movie and in Jason's lyrics, we thought it was her body.
Never wanted to see Jada Pinkett's body. Never wanted to see her. I was never attracted to Jada.
She didn't get naked in this. She didn't get naked in Jason's legs. She didn't get naked in freaking Menace to Society.
I was never attracted to Jada Pinkett Smith.
Damn it!
At that age, I appreciate the way she looked then, and now as I'm
Jason's
older,
lyrics, she looked amazing.
But at that age, I didn't think she was that attractive. I always thought Vivica A. Fox was attractive, but I never thought Jada Pinkett was attractive at that time. I do now.
Even with the bald blonde hair?
No, I do now. As in, while I watch her now, while I watch her then as a man now, I'm more attracted to her than what I was when I was 11 years old watching her then. Does that make sense?
Can I ask a question real quick?
No question.
No,
Real
there is
quick.
no sequel.
That's Vic's main thing.
Yeah, real quick.
Why was the black detective so pressed with her gun on Frankie toward the end? Like she was like,
because she want to make sure her partner wasn't shot.
You talking about Rock's? You talking about Rock's wife from the TV show Rock?
Yes.
Yeah.
Rock's wife.
Yeah.
That's
Here we
who
go.
she is.
Here's another 5 minutes. Here's another
like
5 minutes.
sister, you ain't even ask her if she wanted a glass of water.
I mean,
What's
you
going
know what
on?
You know what was great? When the lineup was popping and the white lady was there. Yes, that was gangster as hell. Yeah, that was so great. And then she was just like, "You think you cute, don't you?"
First of all, how ain't the detectives gonna see her going like this though?
Right, I was wondering that too when she did that.
That's true. Facts.
Like that looks so hot. If I don't think she's tapping
the
something in the
movie
pocket,
is not-
I think she's showing a gun or something.
It's not a brilliantly written film. It's just such a cult classic for the characters that were played and the people that put this movie together
The
as
chemistry.
a culture.
Mhm.
It was accepted as just that great thing. You know what I mean? It's like, I can name plenty of these movies that came out in that time that we revere so much. But when you go back and watch them compared to the day, no, the dialogue's not there. But I think to enjoy this movie where you should enjoy, you have to have watched this movie when this movie came out.
I mean, you know what though? One thing that I loved more than anything was the champagne spot when the kid got killed.
Mm-hmm.
And that just goes to show you that George Floyd situation ain't nothing new.
Oh,
it's been going on.
It ain't nothing new. So
We
like,
just got cell phones.
I mean, and then the fact that every time somebody gets shot, every time somebody gets shot, that was one thing I didn't like about the movie was that too many things. I think Ian touched on it briefly, where somebody felt like they were a hero.
I have never touched on it.
Yes, you did, because you were like somebody.
Brief or long, never have I ever.
Oh wow, haven't played that in a while.
Never have I ever had a foursome.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
Shit, that's
we're
not true.
We're going to do that on air one day. Never have I ever. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching UPRE. Apparently, we're going to a different direction, so we're going to close it right here. For Big, for E-Boogie, for Hey Yo, it's Mike Knox. I'm the Exec Consultant. We'll see you next time right here, UPRE. Good night, everybody.